The Creator, he sent one person down. The person painted on his face these lines, which became the tributaries to these rivers. After those tributaries were created, then it started making the river wind, and it created habitat that fish could start coming up. One of the people he put on earth walked to the mouth of the water and met this family there, and every night he'd sit down and eat. He'd sit with the head of the tribe and his wife and his daughter, and they would feed him fish. The head of the village, he explained to this man that we're the salmon people. We go back to the river. Our people come from there. You can take them to feed your people, but you always have to show the salmon people your respect.
Today we celebrate with American Rivers because when they stepped in, it was a game changer, and they brought the awareness, the strength, and the capacity for us to see what we're seeing today. And that is our salmon who've been homeless for so long to find a pathway back to their home up through the Nooksack River.
Life needs rivers. All life needs rivers. And when you think about what rivers mean in your own life, where does your drinking water come from? What do you love about this place you call home? What's beautiful about it? What gives you your identity in terms of where you live, where you're from? Do you like to go outside and hike and enjoy nature and fish and boat and any of that? The river runs through our lives in so many ways. We're not only connected to the river, but because of the river, we're connected to each other. And when we realize that, I think that's the pathway towards solutions that improve our lives.
You look at rivers and you look at salmon, and they don't give up, right? A river's constantly fighting to go downstream. It's this thing that's gonna churn away, low flows, high flows, it's gonna chip away, and it's gonna get to where it wants to go. Salmon are gonna keep coming upstream, banging their head on the dam. They're gonna fight until they're dead to get upstream and reproduce and breathe life back into the forest. I think that's just a lesson of resilience and commitment. It's so important to just put our mind to something, commit to it, and just stick with it, just like the fish and the river, and work our way around it and make it happen. A project like this and a lot of multi-benefit water resource projects, you're really meeting the needs of the community. And when you say community, that is fish, people, the forest, all of the larger community that provides all of these life support services for the human race and other species.
We've arrived at a place where the value of getting what we got out of a dam diversion does not outweigh the value of what salmon bring to our ecosystem and us as people. And so I think now you're seeing this reconciliation. We don't have to sacrifice our habitat, we don't have to sacrifice our ecosystem to bring drinking water to these communities. And in fact, it's a win-win. You actually, by doing this diversion, dam removal, you increase the ecosystem and you have a long-term, less expensive source of water.
One of the powerful places that American Rivers has for us, and especially me as a policymaker, is to create that partnership to engage with our agencies and our local governments and assessment of our dams across the state. We have dams that have been there for generations. With today's technology and science, if we take a lens to that and find out, does this dam do what it's supposed to do? Does it have the right technology? Does it have proper fish barrier tools in there to be able to have the salmon return home? American Rivers has the capacity to do that assessment in Washington State and help us evaluate whether or not we need to remove them. 7 generations from now are gonna look back at us and say, what did you do to help us get here? The children behind us are looking at us, and we're building the hope for them that they'll be here as I once was.
We are facing some really tough challenges. climate change, long-standing injustice, a struggling economy. And what we're seeing time after time on the Middle Fork Nooksack and on lots of other rivers is when you bring people together to restore a river, you can solve a lot of these problems together. And at the end of the day, not only do you have a healthier river, but you have a stronger community. When the community is really part of that vision, it's their river, it's their future. It's an incredibly powerful thing.